Ho, 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 and Merry Christmas to you. Welcome to this week's episode of the Sales Circle podcast. Now, I know what you're thinking. Rob, you're a lunatic. This episode has come out on Christmas Day. Who in their right mind is listening to a sales podcast on Christmas Day? And I agree, probably the only person that would be is Santa, as he is meandering across the wilderness, delivering lots of presents to all the good boys and girls across the world. But there's kind of some method in my madness. Listen, this episode is the last of the season, the season finale, should we say? And goodness, the year has flown by. The year is flying by, and I've no doubt that 2026 will do the same. And it's been a great year for sales. It's been a great year for business. It's been a great year for this podcast. Today's episode is slightly different. Today, I'm not going to be doing much talking right now. What I'm going to be doing is providing some highlights, some key tips, some key features, a summary over all the things that you should be taking in to 2026 and beyond. It's been a great year for the podcast. We've talked about many topics. Obviously, AI, of course, is featured really heavily in this podcast, as it has amongst business as a whole and other podcasts. We've talked a lot about cold calling. We've shared hints, tips, ideas, and everything else in between. I want to say a couple of things before we get on to some of the key tips and kind of review the year. I want to say thank you to you for listening, for viewing, and for getting involved in the Sales Circle podcast. Many of you have sent in letters and questions and emails and all sorts, which I'm really thankful for. But many of you as well have listened. You've driven to your office listening to this. You've driven to work. You've driven to goodness, maybe your relatives today on Christmas Day to listen to this. I don't know. But you've done a lot. So thank you so much. Is this the end of the Sales Circle? No, I don't think so. Unless we get cancelled or unless suddenly something changes. It's just the end of the season. Things have got to change. Things have got to evolve. Things have got to adapt. Look, one thing I'm constantly doing is trying to figure out what's working, what's not working, what we can do differently and what can be done differently, and sometimes what could be done better. And obviously now we've had another season of this podcast and shared some great values, some great hints, some great tips. I know what's working and I know what's not working, and I've been listening to your reviews and your summaries as well. Oh, goodness. So I'm going to take those on board, put some time to think now, and season 3 will be coming along very, very soon. When that will be, at this point in time, I don't know. So please don't pressure me. Please don't get angry at me. It could be next month. It could be February. It could be March. But I assure you, I promise you, at some point in 2026, there'll be some fresh content that is designed to help you improve your sales. That's what this podcast is all about. In the interim, whilst I am vacant, whilst the podcast is taking a hiatus, you can still keep in touch. Connect with me over on LinkedIn. I'm still very prominent and very loud on LinkedIn. Purchase one of my books. All 3 of these books are available on Amazon. You can get the Relationship Selling, the Paragon Mindset, and A Month to Improve Your Sales all over on Amazon. I've got another great podcast which I'd love for you to subscribe to, How I Failed in Business. Me and my good friend Megan Grace, we get together and we talk about all things business failures, mistakes, mishaps, and everything else in between. So that's going to keep going, so stay tuned over there. But again, just before we get on to our little summary, thank you to you, the viewer. Thank you to you, the listener. Make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And let's recap the year we've just had. What happens if this issue doesn't get solved this quarter? Or who else would need to sign off on this? Or is there anyone else involved in the decision-making process on this? By asking these questions, we can make sure our targeting, our messaging, our selling is going towards not only the right companies, but then also the right decision makers and sometimes the right influencers within them early. Think about the last time you were at a party and you were stuck with that little cretin that just won't shut up, right? And if you've not done that, then unfortunately that guy's probably you. But we've all done it, right? We've sat in a cocktail party and at a networking event and someone's just talking and talking and talking and you're like, oh my gosh, would you shut up? Right? Think about how that makes you feel. Now think about how that makes your customer feel. Could you, revolutionary, right? Really revolutionary this, but could you potentially pick up the phone? Could you make a phone call? Can you have an engaging conversation over the phone? It's an old thing, as old folk love it, but my gosh, right? Picking up the phone is so disruptive. You get the right answers. Sales is the thing that drives businesses forward, okay? My argument is this: you could have the world's best business, you could have the best product or service, but if you're not willing to sell it, or if you've not got the team to sell it, then it's not going to go far. You are being ghosted because you're a bore. You are an absolute bore. So try and mix things up a little bit. We heard a statistic earlier, and this is the thing: don't get too sort of down and out if you are being ghosted, right? 44% of sales reps give up after just one follow-up, but 24% of buyers say that they ghosted intentionally. That means that, quick maths, 76% of buyers do it unintentionally. Sales is a great skill that allows us to communicate better, as we said at the start of the thing. The one thing to remember, Ellie, wasn't it, is that anything like that takes time and practice, right? Learning how to sell won't make you a better speaker overnight. You've got to practice, you've got to rehearse, you've got to film yourself, you've got to watch yourself back, you've got to be able to do it again and again and again. My script, and you'll sell anything to anyone. Here, these are my 3 keywords you must say, and then you psychologically manipulate your prospect to buy from you, right? Bollocks. I call utter bollocks on that straight away. Customize your pitch and your whole spiel to the person you are selling. You cannot force a square peg into a round hole. So here's the thing: if you're looking to increase your sales and you keep looking for these cheap fixes of, the next script or the next cold call opener or the best objection handling, 83% of top performing salespeople credit their success to mindset and mental resilience. So actually, sales is less about those quick fixes, and it's more about being clever up here, being smart up here. I'm a big believer in books. I'm a big believer in the ability to study, to grow our knowledge. And I think that really extends out to salespeople. One of the big things that that motivated me to get into what I do is the fact that anyone can become a salesperson, right? And I'm sure maybe you are listening to this as one of those people. You fell into sales. You were told that you'd got the gift of the gab. You were told that you can make some good money, perhaps. You were told that you knew lots of people. You were told that you knew the product inside and out, whatever it was. And you fall into sales. I genuinely think that if you leave good voicemails, it creates another touch point. We've heard in recent episodes where we discuss using voice notes and using our voice and videos at times to get across our message. A voicemail does that. So actually, we should be leaving voicemails, but they should be good ones. You're constantly just chasing the deal, you're going to push away. You attract the relationship. You actually open that door for further conversation. And of course, if they've recently engaged in something, put really simply, right? When you leave a voicemail, you need to have a reason and you've got to have a message, right? Like I say, if you're just leaving a voicemail for the sake of leaving a voicemail's sake, then you're not going to get very far very soon. So 76% of customers expect companies to understand their individual needs, not just push a product. So buyers want you to develop that relationship with them. Guess what? They want you to sell human to human. Hello, this is Rob Spence calling from Windows Glazing Errors. Can you call me back, please, regarding a quote I'd like to send out to you? Boring. Absolutely boring. If you're leaving voicemails like that, then 100% you will not get a call back. When we're conversing, when we are selling, when we're developing relationships, when we are selling human to human, it's not just about understanding the problem. Understanding the problem is easy, but what we need to be doing is feeling that problem with our prospect. By feeling that problem with our prospect, then lo and behold, what we're actually doing is empathizing. We are showing to our prospect that we care. Better still, we are showing to our prospect that we can help our customer, that we can help our prospect. We could talk about all the skills that encompasses a salesperson: prospecting, questioning, objection handling, closing, everything else in between. But actually, really, the whole thing that solidifies all of that, and the thing that we need to get into our minds, is relationship development. Remember, people buy from people. Human-to-human selling is the only strategy that will help you improve your selling, right? Let's clip that up. Human-to-human selling is the only way you are going to make a difference in the world, the way that you're going to grow your business. Look at Nike, right? If I say Nike to you, you, the listener, the viewer, will think about Nike completely different to how I think. You'll think about different products, different things that they sell. Because Nike haven't niched down, have they? Really, in the grand scheme of things. Nike sell clothes of
for any appendage on my body: socks, pants, hats, gloves, scarves, trousers, jackets, jumpers. So if we look at it from that point of view, they've not niched down and gone, yeah, we're gonna be the world's best sock maker. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. If we look at the traits of introverts, if we look at the traits of extroverts, each of them come with massive benefits. Each of them come with massive pros, right? And I'm gonna say something quite controversial here in the fact that I believe that both can be faked. They can be acted, even in just short amounts of time. Is it gonna be painful? Absolutely. Is it gonna be uncomfortable? Absolutely. But will it help you get better results? Damn right it will do, right? Gamify things. I turn the whole sales shebang into a game, whether that's me doing it myself or whether that's with the team. Now, normally that game could be some form of reward. If it's you and yourself by yourself, maybe you're working at home, gamify things. Say, look, I'm gonna get an extra 10 no's. And then what I'm gonna take half an hour walk break. I'm gonna reward myself. Remember, we use the word reward, not treat. I'm going to reward myself for those actions. The best salespeople are able to mirror and understand what's going on in the situation in the area and in the environment, and then match and mirror what they need to do. And I think sometimes being introverted is absolutely super great. Like I said, it's a superpower. Sometimes you have to be a little bit extroverted. You've got to come out your shell a little bit more. Do you have to change, swap and mirror? Absolutely. Will it be uncomfortable? Yes, absolutely. Once again, one of the biggest things and the biggest mistakes I see at networking events and events of all shapes and sizes is people butting in and over talking and actually at times dominating the conversation, which once again can happen in sort of round table events and round table dinners and so on and so forth. If I ask you to walk into a library, no matter what kind of personality you are, you're naturally going to hush your tones. You're naturally going to take those tones in, right? It's the same for a church service. It's the same if you attend a council meeting. It's the same if you attend Ninja Warrior. It's the same if you attend a rave. You match your energy to the environment you are in. It's a known fact, and I will argue and debate that with anyone who says, no, I'm always introverted. No, you will naturally change just in various ratios of your current personality, right? Sometimes, I do think walking away is the best thing to do. As a business owner, I've come to learn that actually red flags show up in those early situations. If someone's a bit rude, a bit brash, a bit abrasive, do you want to be doing that business with them for the longer term? Probably not. So just walk away and move on to the next one. That's where good prospecting and good qualification really comes into play. I never grew up intending to be a salesperson. And in fact, it's very rare that you do. I think times are changing, however. I think salespeople are getting a bit of a better reputation, the fact that people are understanding that sales can be a fun career, it can be a fun sales skill, it can be something fun to do. As again, let your prospect know what's going on and be realistic, right? Don't just give the old, yeah, I'll be 5 minutes and you're not, right? If you're naturally, you're held back by 15 minutes, be honest, state that you're going to be 15 minutes and push on from there. My love for money has never been to become, super rich, to become, driving around in a flash car or whatever. For me, money brings comfort, money brings safety, security, money brings freedom as well. And, I remember when I was growing up, I set out to think, actually, do you know what? I'm never going to be in those situations that I've been in as a kid. And although I'll never want to spoil my children, I think it's fair to say that actually opening that conversation is probably one of the most crucial and critical steps of the cold call. If you're not starting that call well, you're going to be hung up on. Everyone makes a first sale once upon a time, and for me, it builds confidence. Sales isn't about slick words, closing, objection handling, psychology, mindset. It's just about connection, genuinely. Sales is about human connection. It's human to human. It's relationship development, right? What we also want to really encourage is respect. We've got to respect both the time of the decision maker. Of course, in sales, the decision maker is vitally important. But in my opinion, the gatekeeper is 10 times more important than the decision maker, because 9 times out of 10, that gatekeeper holds the keys to everything. They know everything that goes on. They know a lot more information, and better still, they're privy to a lot of conversations. But Who Moved My Cheese is an amazing way to deal with change in your work and in your life. And the reason I recommend this, or any of the 1 Minute series, is because change happens a lot, in particular within sales, okay? Sometimes our product or service can change, our prospects can change, our business as a whole can change. And when we're trying to sell, sometimes that can distract us, that can become very distracting, it can become very noisy. The Talent Code by Daniel Coyle. Now, this is a fantastic read, and if I'm honest, it really changed my life, and it changed the way I think about talent, the way I think about skill, the way I think about overnight success, the way I think about how I can improve pretty much anything that I do. He goes on to say, the main reason people struggle financially is because they've spent years in school but learn nothing about money. The result is that people learn to work for money but never learn to have money work for them. I think that quote in itself really tells you what the book's all about here. I think there is always, to some degree, a need. We know that through the powers of persuasion that some form of scarcity, some form of urgency can help the decision-making process. But actually, if that urgency is faked, is forced, or is too pushy, it looks desperate. I think manners as well shows respect. We should always have a mutual respect with our prospects. That then leads into open doors for repeat business, referrals, recommendations, and actually really sets you apart. We all know those people that are known as a gentleman and so on and so forth, or a gentle lady perhaps, and they're the ones that go on to do great business. And it's not our job as a salesperson to hit the brake. It's our job to act as the sat-nav. Let's use that analogy. Our job is a sat-nav, trying to guide and trying to direct. The driver still has full control. The driver still has, free will and can drive wherever they want. But our job is to be the sat-nav. I believe it's because so many salespeople are so eager to pitch. They've been told that they need to pitch and close. And what they forget, actually, is that when we are going through that, yes, prospecting, but 100% discovery phase, we are understanding the reasons the reasons why a prospect will want to talk to us. We're also discovering what that prospect wants. So again, if you're looking to get your next sales job, think of yourself like a salesperson. Okay? Yeah, think of yourself as a salesperson and sell yourself. Selling yourself for you as a salesperson should be so easy. There's no point in selling for the sake of selling. Telling isn't selling. Walking into a room and saying, look, my product is the best, it's got these features, it's got these benefits, you must use it, you must buy from it. Oh my God, everyone's using it. Oh my God, buy. That's not selling, that's just you preaching, brother. I used to work for one of the leading, probably if not the leading, naked butler agencies in the United Kingdom called Butlers in the Buff. A naked butler is exactly what it says on the tin. So these are the guys who will appear at parties and they will be naked, albeit bar an apron. And yes, I can assure you, nothing was worn underneath. I'm not too sure if some of the guys do, but I used to just be full flowing, should we say. So you'd have a little apron on, and maybe editors, when we're editing this up, maybe we should get some like little photos and clips in there as well. Yeah, so a little apron, you'd have little cuffs on your hand, and of course, the little collar and bow tie. Another thing that I learned a lot from being a butler in the Buff or being a naked butler is the ability to be a confident and public speaker. Don't get me wrong, I don't think I ever had to stand up and give a speech or anything, but you are the center of attention in those moments. Now, when you go into a BNI room, for argument's sake, and you've got to give a speech or a pitch, all eyes are on you. There's still 30 people in the room looking at you. Again, that's so much easier when you've got clothes on and you're talking about business. Proper British small talk. So what do you do for work then? How's the day been? What activities did you do? How was that? But by asking those questions, once again, it allowed those barriers to come down, that trust to be opened up. It allowed more two-way conversations to flow. And then ultimately, truly allowed us to fully engage and fully invoke that relationship, which once again, lowered those barriers and got everyone entertained. Think about this. I always find this really, confusing. Imagine going back to our grandmas, our great grandmas, and our grandfathers, and saying, "Hey, look, next time you go into a shop, you don't even have to speak to anyone. You just put it in a basket and you scan it at the end and you pay." Or better still, you just scan as you go and pay at the end. They would find that whole thing mind-boggling. I don't believe in discounting. Discounting is horrible. It creates a race to the bottom. It's weak. Shows that you aren't comfortable or confident in your product, your service, or your solution. It also, I think as well, really just devalues all the hard work you've done. And of course, from a business point of view, really harms your margin. So think about what extra value you can communicate and you can get out and talk about with your prospect. But just remember, we've got to make sure that digital selling, our digital buyer's journey, is as flawless as it is if someone wants to walk in our showroom. If someone walks in our showroom or in our studio or in our office, we want it to look good, smell good, feel good, flow good. We want people to feel comfortable and at ease. The same should be exactly for your digital selling. I can spot an AI written email, LinkedIn message a million miles away. And I'll always say, right, if you want me to part with my money, prove it to me. Every time you sell something, you've got to become part of your customer. You've got to become part of their journey. You cannot sell on the outside in. You've got to really ingrain yourself. And if you start to truly understand your customer, talk well with your customer, help them find the best value and the best results for them, you'll get a customer for life. I believe that corporate companies focus too much on the data and the numbers. One would argue that they're doing something well because they are big, they are corporate, XYZ. But actually, we cannot nullify the human touch, the human feel, the human scent, and everything else in between. I believe that giving up an office to work remotely to save costs, like I say, is a false economy. Simply because, yeah, you can do that. You can stop spending, $1,000, $2,000, sometimes $5,000, $10,000 per month on your rent and whatever. But you've then got to spend more time looking at reports. You've got to spend more time aligning people. You've got to spend more time going to go to social meetings. You've got to spend more time talking to team members instead of just seeing them there and then. So that's my opinion anyway. Please, if you want to argue with that, drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Some companies seem to, for some reason, want to make the customer journey as hard as damn possible. They want to make it hard for their customers to buy. They want to make it hard to do business because they're so focused on those internal processes. Oh, well, accounts said we've got to do it this way. Make sure everything's printed and scanned back in. I call absolute bollocks on that kind of nonsense. Blockbuster were living the dream, man. Living the dream. Blockbuster were huge stores in every city, in every town, right? They were absolutely creaming it. It was incredible. Friday nights was spent going to the video store, picking out your movies, picking out your snacks and so on. It was great. They had the chance to buy Netflix. They had the chance to revolutionize this new way of watching movies, and they said no. They said, no, we're stuck in our ways. This is how we're going to do it. Where are Blockbuster now? Just a figment of our imagination, a figment of our memory. Buyers want to be understood. They want to be heard. They want sellers who truly get them and the business that they represent and they work for. Emotional intelligence really helps with that. Again, emotional intelligence is something we sometimes overlook, but our buyers want us to understand them. They want us to understand their pains, their needs, their desires. Make sure you're taking on board my 5 predictions. If you remain emotionally intelligent, understand your data, use AI to free up some of your time, become a consultant, and get really good at digital communication skills, 2026 is going to be an absolute killer year for you, the team you work with, and your business. I believe that over the years, salespeople have got into this awful bad habit of thinking that salespeople must talk, they must pitch. Here's my sales deck, here are all my technological specifications, here are all my features. And they talk themselves out of a sale. Again, I think the best skill, Rana, is of salespeople that they should be using and probably aren't, and we'll hopefully see a big trend again in 2026 and beyond, is listening and asking the right questions. Without the right questions, we can't listen. If we're not listening, we can't then ask the right questions. So sometimes, you salespeople out there, just learn to shut the hell up. I can tell you the amount of times that I've picked up the phone to an AI agent and wanted to have a conversation. That's 0. Don't get me wrong, I've had calls from these AI agents call me up very quickly. Goodbye. Jesus Christ. Who on earth, right, and please clip this up, who on earth thinks that AI agents is a good way to sell? If you do, give your head a wobble, give your head a shake, go into a boxing ring, get yourself punched 20 times in the face, and understand that it's the most stupidest way to sell ever. Again, I think this is where people get a bit confused. When we generate leads, these leads are hyper qualified. They're not just, oh, someone's clicked on this. Oh, someone's downloaded this PDF. Oh, someone's registered an interest. These are like hyper qualified. Oh my God, I want to take this further. Our lead list would be much higher if we included in there people who wanted an email or people who opted in. It would be in the hundreds. These are people that want a sit-down, face-to-face meeting, right? And again, the final tip is make sure you're reviewing and learning. And I want to look at that in two ways. First of all, look at the data. I think I said this in a recent episode. Understand your numbers. How many cold calls is it taking for you to get to a decision maker? And then when you speak to a decision maker, how many cold calls does it then take, or how many touch points does it then take to be able to send a proposal? And then how many follow-ups does it take for someone to then sign a deal? Whatever your numbers are, whatever your KPIs are, understand them. Because then lo and behold, you can then track your time, feedback that data, and understand wholeheartedly what it takes for you to get a result. So there we have it. 2025 is coming to a close. Again, I don't want to repeat what I kind of said in that opening monologue, but thank you so much for getting involved. Season 3 will come out very, very soon. If you've got any ideas for Season 3, if there's stuff that you want to talk about, there's stuff that you want to see, if there's stuff that a format that you'd like, then please do get in touch. You can email thesalescircleofficial@gmail.com. You can also, of course, what can you do? Contact us over on social media. Sorry, I don't know why my mind just went completely blank then. And of course, you can connect with me on LinkedIn and stay in touch that way and drop me some messages there. Listen, it's Christmas Day. If you are listening to this Christmas Day, fair kudos to you. Love you lots, but please go and enjoy time with your family. If there's one thing that sales and business has taught me, is that family and your own time is so important. You cannot put a price on that. So yes, chase the sale. Yes, chase the business, but most importantly, don't let your family chase you. Your family needs you today. But of course, if you're not listening to us Christmas Day, then that's absolutely fine. I wish you the most beautiful of Christmases. I wish you the most magical of New Years, and I look forward to seeing you in 2026. Don't know what that smile was at the end. I looked like a frog, didn't I? Anyway, cool. And that's it for another episode of the Sales Circle. Make sure you hit that follow button, join us over on social media, and we'll see you next week.